I don't consider myself a comic actor. I think of myself as a thespian,
Gene Hackman, the legendary actor known for his role in The Royal Tenenbaums, has retreated from the limelight in recent years. While the industry has paid tribute to his legacy, few have dared to delve into his final years. Why has Hollywood refused to talk about Hackman's final years? Join us as we dive into the details of this mystery. Gene Hackman's attitude and charisma in Hollywood. Gene Hackman had a unique approach to his work in Hollywood, where collaboration is usually key. His colleagues found him to be intense, straightforward, and at times challenging, not because he was a star, but because he was dedicated to his craft and unwilling to make compromise. While his dedication to authenticity earned him respect as a talented actor, it also distanced him from the social circles of Hollywood. For almost half a century, Hackman dominated the film industry with his unforgettable performances. He did not just act out roles, he embodied them completely. Whether it was Hoosiers, Unforgiven, or Get Shorty, Hackman represented toughness, seriousness, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. His hard work paid off, resulting in 2 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, and 2 BAFTAs. Despite his many awards, Hackman did not conform to the typical Hollywood celebrity stereotype. He wasn't interested in glamorous events, schmoozing with executives, or maintaining superficial relationships to stay in the industry's good graces. In the early 2000s, Hackman was approaching the end of his career as an actor. His last movie, Welcome to Mooseport, 2004, was a comedic departure from his usual serious roles, co-starring Ray Romano. The film received negative reviews, highlighting the change in Hackman's usual style. Hackman himself seemed to acknowledge that his time in Hollywood was coming to an end. During an interview with Larry King, he mentioned having no upcoming projects and hinted at retiring from acting completely. A few years later, he confirmed his retirement with little fanfare, quietly leaving the industry he had been a powerhouse in for many years. Hackman's decline in Hollywood's limelight was due in part to his tough reputation. Unlike other actors who engage in Hollywood politics, Hackman did not tolerate flattery or catering to directors' egos. He focused on his work and demanded the same level of commitment from those around him. His direct demeanor often came across as intimidating to some and irritating to others. One notable incident that exemplifies his passionate demeanor occurred during the making of The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001. Director Wes Anderson, known for his precise and soft-spoken approach, reportedly felt overwhelmed by Hackman's presence. Hackman is said to have belittled Anderson as an overgrown 12-year-old and once sharply told him to pull up your pants and act like a man. The tension on set was so thick that Bill Murray was brought in to offer emotional support to Anderson. Angelica Houston, who starred alongside Hackman, later confessed that she was more focused on shielding Anderson from Hackman's intensity than dealing with it herself. In spite of the tension behind the scenes, Hackman gave a standout performance as Royal Tenenbaum, a captivating but imperfect father figure. His acting in the role led to a nomination for a Golden Globe, showcasing his talent overshadowing any issues he may have caused during filming. However, the collaboration had a lasting impact. Anderson and Hackman did not collaborate again, with Anderson hinting at the industry's preference for more cooperative actors by labeling Hackman as a huge force. Hackman's tough reputation was not confined to his work in films. For example, in 2001, he was in a car accident, which quickly turned into a heated argument. Despite being 71 years old, when the other driver used offensive language, Hackman refused to retreat. This led to a physical fight, demonstrating that his Marine background and straightforward demeanor had not diminished over the years. Despite his reputation, which could be seen as a hindrance or a benefit, Hackman continued to be held in high regard within Hollywood. However, admiration does not always guarantee enduring connections, and as he chose to step out of the spotlight, the entertainment world appeared ready to accept his exit without much celebration. Now, before we uncover the reasons why Hollywood refused to talk about Gene Hackman's final years, let's explore how he got to this point of fame. What was his early career like? The rise of Gene Hackman. Becoming a highly regarded actor in Hollywood was a difficult journey for Gene Hackman. He made the decision to pursue acting as a career in 1956, a decision that presented numerous challenges. Seeking to improve his acting abilities, he enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse in California, a renowned training center for hopeful actors. While there, he crossed paths with Dustin Hoffman, another aspiring actor who would eventually rise to stardom. Instead of receiving support, Hackman and Hoffman faced mockery from their peers. They were considered outsiders and were even voted least likely to succeed. Hackman, in particular, received the lowest grade ever awarded by the Pasadena Playhouse. Instead of allowing these obstacles to dishearten him, Hackman grew more resolute in proving his detractors mistaken. He departed California and relocated to New York City in search of improved prospects. In a 2004 article in Vanity Fair, Hackman, Hoffman, and another aspiring actor, Robert Duvall, were depicted as a determined trio of pals. They resided in different pairings in modest apartments, pooling resources as they pursued success in the field. Just like numerous hopeful actors, Hackman had to juggle various unrelated jobs to make ends meet while seeking acting opportunities. One of these gigs included working at a Howard Johnson's eatery. One day, while on duty, he crossed paths with a teacher from the Pasadena Playhouse. Instead of offering words of encouragement, the teacher made derogatory remarks, claiming that his current job signified his lack of potential. Rather than being discouraged, these comments only served to motivate Hackman further in his pursuit of success. Despite facing challenges, Hackman gradually began landing minor acting roles. He was seen in supporting parts on TV shows such as Tallahassee 7000, The United States Steel Hour, Route 66, Naked City, The Defenders, The DuPont Show of the Week, East Side, West Side, and Brenner. Although these roles did not bring him widespread recognition, they gave him important experience. Additionally, he started performing in off-Broadway productions, which may not have been as grand as Broadway shows, but still provided opportunities for actors to demonstrate their skills. His first off-Broadway appearance was in The Saintliness of Marjorie Kemp in 1959. Then, in 1963, he took the stage in another off-Broadway play, Come to the Palace of Sin. In 1963, Hackman made his first appearance on Broadway in the play Children from Their Games, but it was not successful. Another disappointment came with A Rainy Day in Newark shortly after. However, his luck changed in 1964 when he secured a role in the Broadway production Any Wednesday alongside Sandy Dennis. This play was a hit and helped propel Hackman into the spotlight as an actor. After achieving success on Broadway, Hackman started landing minor roles in movies. He got his first official film credit in Lilith, 1964, alongside Gene Seberg and Warren Beatty. This signified the start of his shift from stage to screen. Concurrently, he kept performing on Broadway. Between 1964 and 1965, he had a leading role in Poor Richard, a production penned by Gene Kerr, which had a successful run of more than 100 shows. Despite making progress, Hackman was still not a well-known actor. He continued to appear in television shows like The Trials of O'Brien, Hawk, and The FBI. In movies, he landed small roles in First to Fight, 1967, A Covenant with Death, 1967, and Banning, 1967. Unfortunately, one of the major setbacks in his early career was being fired from his role as Mr. Robinson in The Graduate, 1967, directed by Mike Nichols. Nichols felt that Hackman looked too young for the part and replaced him with Murray Hamilton after just 3 weeks of rehearsal. Despite the missed opportunity for a breakthrough in The Graduate, Hackman continued to persevere. In the following year, a new opportunity arose with the crime movie Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. In this film, he portrayed Buck Barrow, the brother of Clyde Barrow, played by Warren Beatty. The movie was a big hit, and Hackman's performance led to his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. After the success of Bonnie and Clyde, Hackman continued to work on television projects. Despite appearing in The Natural Look on Broadway, the play quickly closed down after only one show. He also had roles in off-Broadway shows like Fragments and The Basement. On TV, he made guest appearances on Iron Horse, Leopards Try But Leopards Can't, and Insight, Confrontation. In 1968, he was seen on I Spy, portraying a character called Hunter in the episode Happy Birthday, Everybody. He was also featured in the CBS Playhouse installment My Father and My Mother and the apocalyptic TV movie Shadow on the Land. 1968. Hackman's success in the movie industry progressed further. In 1969, he portrayed a ski instructor in the film Downhill Racer alongside Robert Redford and an astronaut in Marooned, a science fiction drama. Additionally, during that year, he appeared in The Gypsy Moths, a movie centered around a group of skydivers participating in shows at local fairs. Despite not achieving significant financial success, the film gained a dedicated fan base within the skydiving community. Hackman co-starred with Jim Brown in The Split, 1968, and Riot, 1969. There were rumors that he was being considered for the part of Mike Brady in The Brady Bunch, but his agent recommended turning it down in hopes of better opportunities in movies. While some versions of this tale may be exaggerated, it is still a popular anecdote about his early career choices. Breakthrough and career successes. Hackman received a second nomination for the Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for his performance in I Never Sang for My Father, 1970. Following that, he acted in Doctor's Wives, 1971, and The Hunting Party, 1971, before winning an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role as New York City detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, 1971, solidifying his status as a star. After The French Connection, Hackman starred in 10 films, excluding his brief appearance in Young Frankenstein, in the following 3 years, solidifying his position as the most productive actor in Hollywood at that time. Following The French Connection, he took on leading roles in Cisco Pike, 1972, Prime Cut, 1972, The Poseidon Adventure, 1973-72, Scarecrow, 1973, alongside Al Pacino, which Hackman considered to be his most cherished role and won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. He also starred in Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation, 1974, which received multiple Oscar nominations and won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes. In the same year, he portrayed Harold the Blind Man in Young Frankenstein, a role that would become one of his most iconic comedic performances. Additionally, Hackman appeared in Zandy's Bride, 1974, and Night Moves, 1975, under the direction of Arthur Penn. Hackman portrayed a former member of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders in the horse race film Bite the Bullet, 1975. He revisited his award-winning character Doyle in the follow-up French Connection 2, 1975, and appeared alongside Burt Reynolds and Liza Minnelli in the unsuccessful film Lucky Lady, 1975. Following his work on The Domino Principle, 1977, with Stanley Kramer, Hackman joined an ensemble cast in the war movie A Bridge Too Far, 1977, where he played Polish General Stanisław Sosabowski. Additionally, he portrayed an officer in the French Foreign Legion in March or Die, 1977. Hackman demonstrated his versatility in the genres of comedy and subtle intensity when portraying the villainous mastermind Lex Luthor in the film Superman, the movie, 1978, a character he would portray again in its sequels, released in 1980 and 1987. During the 1980s, Hackman took on diverse roles in various films. He had leading roles in some movies, such as All Night Long, 1981, with Barbra Streisand, and Eureka, 1983. In other films, he played supporting roles, like in Reds, 1981, with Warren Beatty, and Under Fire, 1983. Hackman even lent his voice to the character of God in Two of a Kind, 1983, and starred in several other films, including Uncommon Valor, 1983, Misunderstood, 1984, Twice in a Lifetime, 1983, and Target, 1985, directed by Arthur Penn. From 1985 to 1988, He appeared in a total of 9 films, making him one of the busiest actors of that time, alongside Steve Guttenberg. In Hoosiers, 1986, Hackman portrayed a high school basketball coach, a role that later earned the film recognition as the 4th greatest sports movie of all time in a 2008 poll by the American Film Institute. Following Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, 1987, Hackman provided the voice for Nuclear Man and appeared in other films like No Way Out, 1987, Split Decisions, 1988, Bat 21, 1988, and Full Moon in Blue Water, 1988. In the Woody Allen drama Another Woman, 1988, he worked alongside Gina Rowlands. The film Mississippi Burning, 1988, directed by Alan Parker, featured Hackman as an FBI agent investigating the assassination of a civil rights leader, with Willem Dafoe as his co-star. Roger Ebert praised Hackman's performance for its subtlety. He received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, ultimately losing to Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man. Following this, he appeared in The Package, 1989. Hackman also starred in Loose Cannons, 1990, alongside Dan Aykroyd, and had a supporting role in Postcards from the Edge, 1990. In Narrow Margin, 1990, a remake of The Narrow Margin from 1952, he starred opposite Anne Archer. After Class Action, 1991, and Company Business, 1991, Hackman took on the role of the sadistic sheriff Little Bill Daggett in the Western film Unforgiven, directed by Clint Eastwood and written by David Webb Peoples. Despite his first reluctance to take on violent roles, Eastwood convinced him to accept the part, which ultimately earned him his second Oscar, this time for Best Supporting Actor. Unforgiven also received the award for Best Picture. Hackman made a comeback to Broadway in 1992 in the Ariel Dorfman play Death and the Maiden, where he shared the stage with Glenn Close and Richard Dreyfuss at the Brooks Atkinson Theater. The following year, he starred in Geronimo, an American legend as Brigadier General George Crook, and played a corrupt lawyer opposite Tom Cruise in The Firm, a legal thriller based on a John Grisham novel. Hackman went on to act in 2 more films based on Grisham novels, portraying convict Sam Cahill in The Chamber, 1996, and jury consultant Rankin Fitch in Runaway Jury, 2003. In the 1990s, Hackman also appeared in movies like Wyatt Earp, 1994, as Nicholas Porter Earp, The Quick and the Dead, 1995, with Sharon Stone, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Russell Crowe, and Crimson Tide, 1995, where he played submarine captain Frank Ramsey alongside Denzel Washington. Hackman appeared as film producer Harry Zim, alongside John Travolta in the comedy drama Get Shorty, 1995. The following year, he showcased his comedic skills as conservative Senator Kevin Keeley in The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. He partnered with Hugh Grant in Extreme Measures, 1996, and teamed up once again with Clint Eastwood in Absolute Power, 1997. In Twilight, 1998, Hackman worked with Paul Newman under the direction of Robert Benton. He also lent his voice to Ants, 1998, and acted alongside Will Smith in Enemy of the State, 1998, drawing parallels to his character in The Conversation. But all of a sudden, all these came to a halt when Gene decided to leave Hollywood for good. What made him decide to do so? Retirement and disappearance from the spotlight. Hackman acted alongside Morgan Freeman in Under Suspicion, 2000, Keanu Reeves in The Replacements, 2000, Owen Wilson in Behind Enemy Lines, 2001, Sigourney Weaver in Heartbreakers, 2001, and had a role in the crime thriller Heist, 2001, directed by David Mamet, where he played an aging thief with remarkable skills who is pressured into one last job. He also had a brief appearance in The Mexican, 2001. In Wes Anderson's comedy film The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001, Hackman received critical acclaim for his portrayal of the eccentric head of a family. Frank Scheck from The Hollywood Reporter praised Hackman's portrayal, stating that he perfectly captured the character's mix of decency, love for his family, and smooth-talking charm. This performance earned him the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. In 2003, he had the opportunity to act in another legal drama by John Grisham, Runaway Jury, finally collaborating with his old friend Dustin Hoffman. The next year, he was seen in the comedy Welcome to Mooseport, alongside Ray Romano, marking his final film role. His exceptional contribution to the entertainment industry was recognized in 2003 when he received the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globe Awards, presented by Michael Caine and Robin Williams. During a rare interview with Larry King in July 2004, he announced that he did not have any upcoming film projects and considered his acting career to be over. He lent his voice to 4 episodes of the sports documentary series America's Game, the Super Bowl champions, in 2007. In 2008, while promoting his 3rd novel, he officially declared his retirement from acting. Also during that year, he made his last television appearance on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, where he was spotted dining at a Santa Fe diner with Guy Fieri. In 2009, when Hackman discussed his retirement, he mentioned that the final straw was a stress test in New York, where a doctor warned him about the condition of his heart. In a 2011 interview with GQ magazine, he hinted that he might consider returning to acting if he could do it on his terms, preferably at home, with minimal disruptions. As a brief break from retirement, Hackman narrated 2 documentaries about the United States Marine Corps, including The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima in 2016 and We, the Marines in 2017, The Final Years and Tragic End of a Legend. Gene Hackman had an angioplasty in 1990 to help with his arteries and blood flow. Despite this, he stayed active. However, in 2012, at the age of 82, he had a biking accident in the Florida Keys. Initially, it was reported that he had serious head injuries after being hit by a pickup truck. His publicist later confirmed that he only had minor injuries like bumps and bruises. Throughout the passage of time, Hackman's level of activity decreased gradually, which was observed by his close friends and family, who noticed alterations in his physical well-being. Despite being a dedicated cyclist in the past, he had abandoned this hobby a year prior to his passing. His outings became infrequent, and those in his inner circle began to perceive him as more confined to his residence. Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and one of their 3 dogs were tragically discovered deceased at their residence in Santa Fe, New Mexico on February 26, 2025. The alarm was raised when a maintenance worker, worried by the lack of response from the couple, decided to conduct a wellness check. After failing to make contact, the worker sought help from local security, who then contacted the authorities. Upon peering through a window, the worker noticed lifeless bodies and promptly dialed 911. Sheriff's deputies were promptly dispatched to the scene. The maintenance staff reported that their last encounter with Hackman and Arakawa occurred 2 weeks before the grim discovery. Deputies discovered Hackman's body near the entrance of the house, showing signs of decay. Arakawa was also found in a deteriorated state in a bathroom, surrounded by prescription substances. These medications were meant to treat high blood pressure and thyroid issues. One of their dogs, an Australian Kelpie, was found lifeless in a crate inside a closet, while the remaining 2 dogs were alive elsewhere on the premises. Officials noted that Hackman's fall seemed to be sudden. The situation also pointed to a similar incident involving Arakawa. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department declared on February 27th that foul play was not evident. However, they failed to identify the cause or exact time of death, prompting an inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the tragic event. Emergency responders ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning, as the fire department did not detect any leaks, and autopsies revealed no traces of the gas in their systems. Additionally, both Hackman and Arakawa had no visible external injuries. Information from Hackman's pacemaker indicated that his heart had stopped on February 17th, implying that they had passed away several days before their bodies were discovered. Hackman's passing was deeply mourned within the film world. Those who knew and admired him remembered his incredible career and the lasting impact he had left behind. Clint Eastwood spoke of Hackman as a truly talented actor, noting his passion and natural ability to embody his characters. Francis Ford Coppola spoke of Hackman's influence in the industry, praising his skill as an actor and the depth he brought to his performances. The president of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, Prince William, also paid tribute to Hackman, acknowledging his ability to truly shine in every role he took on. Numerous well-known individuals in the entertainment industry shared their sorrow and respect for Hackman. Morgan Freeman, Dustin Hoffman, Glenn Close, and Tom Hanks were just a few of the individuals who honored him. Viola Davis, Bill Murray, Mel Brooks, and Alec Baldwin also paid tribute. Gwyneth Paltrow, Josh Brolin, John Cusack, and Ben Stiller expressed their admiration as well. Michael Rosenbaum, James Gunn, and Valerie Perrine also joined in remembering Hackman's legacy. Nathan Lane, Antonio Banderas, and Hank Azaria added their voices to the tribute. George Takei and Jennifer Love Hewitt were also among those who mourned the passing of the actor. In his reflections on Hackman's death, film critic Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian mentioned that it marked the conclusion of a significant period in American film history. He viewed Hackman as a key figure in the American New Wave movement that transformed Hollywood during the latter part of the 20th century. Bradshaw characterized Hackman as a dominant force on the big screen, an actor who naturally drew attention in every scene he appeared in. He highlighted Hackman's unique facial expressions, ranging from his sly grins to the hidden sadness behind his paternal smiles that left a lasting impact on audiences. So, why did Hollywood stay quiet about Hackman's later years? Let's find out. Why Hollywood did not talk about Gene Hackman's final days. Hollywood is a world where change is vital for success. Those who remain popular are the ones who can adapt and grow over time. However, Hackman chose a different path. He focused on being true to himself and never compromised for the sake of popularity or social connections. In the cutthroat world of Hollywood, this kind of individuality could mean the end of a legacy. In 2004, when Hackman decided to retire, Hollywood was already beginning to shift. There was no big send-off because Hackman wasn't interested in one. He did not want to make a dramatic departure or leave room for sporadic appearances. Instead, he opted for a secluded life in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he concentrated on writing books and relished a more solitary lifestyle. However, the lack of acknowledgement from Hollywood regarding Hackman's later years was not solely due to his retirement decision. It also reflected the industry's preference for honoring actors who continue to stay active, attending events, granting interviews, and making public appearances even as their careers wind down. Unlike these actors, Hackman did not engage in such activities. He refrained from retrospectives, declined invitations to reunions fueled by nostalgia, and seldom discussed his previous work. As a result, without fresh stories, interviews, or public sightings, he slowly slipped from the industry's memory. Hollywood chose to stay silent about Hackman's later years because it favored actors who were cooperative. Even though he did not have any major controversies, Hackman's reputation for being hard to work with made it simpler for the industry to keep its distance. Unlike other actors who built strong bonds with those in the film industry, Hackman never prioritized forming personal connections in Hollywood. As he stepped away from his career, there were no influential allies advocating for his accomplishments to be recognized. In addition, Hackman decided to retire during a time of great change in Hollywood. During the mid-2000s, the industry was seeing a rise in franchise movies, CGI extravaganzas, and younger actors who were able to adapt easily. The traditional leading man who was tough and straightforward was becoming less popular as superhero movies and remakes with heavy promotion took over. In this evolved version of Hollywood, Hackman's method of acting, which focused on authenticity, passion, and portraying complex characters, was no longer as sought after. Despite the passing of time and occasional curiosity from fans about his whereabouts, Hollywood showed no interest in reintroducing Hackman into the spotlight. While some seasoned actors receive recognition through honorary awards, career retrospectives, or return roles, Hackman made a conscious choice to steer clear of all of that. His decision to step back was not just about retiring from acting, but also about distancing himself from the entire Hollywood scene. His later years were not widely discussed in the entertainment world. There was no sensational coverage of his health, no obsessive attention to his personal life, and no efforts to bring him back into public view. Although some fans still appreciated his artistry, the focus in Hollywood had shifted to promoting new talents rather than recognizing those who had retired. However, even though Hollywood has chosen not to acknowledge it, Hackman's lasting impact is undeniable. His acting abilities are still under scrutiny. His movies are still connecting with viewers, and his contribution to the world of acting is still highly regarded. Despite being ignored by the industry, his influence on the film industry cannot be overlooked. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.